You guys, howdy do. I hope you're all well. Just making sure everything is working well. And in order to do that, if you drop a hello, hey, I'm from Minnesota, or wherever it is that you're from, France, Guatemala, all that would be great. Thank you so much. Comments and reactions. Oh, good. Everybody is showing up, and that makes me very happy. Super great. Karen is from sunny and warm Indiana. And by the way, I'm in relatively cool Colorado. We've had some warm weather, but in the afternoons and evenings it gets cool here. Diane, hello from Montana, and Ann is in Virginia, and Venetia is in Nebraska. We got Texas, California, Mississippi, New Zealand, and Pennsylvania. Hey, Nick. And then Renee is from Buffalo and North Lake Tahoe, Georgia. Oh, I bet the peaches are just getting great right now. Sue's here. Kathy, you guys, it's great to see you. I have something fun to share with you. And while you're popping in, I'm going to share with you a photo. So the thing I want you to most know about this image is that I do an AI image club. I started that this year for people that want to create AI, artificial intelligence images. And our challenge last week was in the desert. And so I created this image of in the desert, but I did it a little bit differently. I put hidden things in it. So while you're waiting for me to get started and then everybody's coming in, see if you can find the snake, the wind turbine, the sombrero, books, shoe, a cleaver, a teapot, and a broom. I bet you'll be able to find them. They're not hard. But the crazy thing is, artificial intelligence does this, and I think there's a lot of controversy around artificial intelligence, but there's also a lot of really great things that it can do for us. So we're not going to get into that argument today. I'm just offering you a fun image in the desert with a few things that you can find while we're waiting here. So we've got Quilters Hall of Fame from Indiana. Hey, Sherry, I'm so glad that you're here. We're promoting, of course, Katie today, Katie Pasquini. And I know you guys, she may have already arrived. I did this interview with her, I think it was Monday. But nonetheless, I know that's going to be super exciting for you guys to have Katie hanging around. Somebody said, I found Waldo. That's great. That's pretty funny. So I'm just letting you keep the image up here, letting you see it a little bit. And I've used artificial intelligence a little bit in designing recently, and I'm going to show you that next. I'm going to say goodbye to this image in about 20 seconds. So look for those hidden objects up there. Clayton, Missouri, Lynn, oh my gosh, you must be a neighbor with Suzanne Marshall. That's wonderful. Ah, Sherry's got a day off and you're spending it with us today. You guys are going to really enjoy today's interview with Katie Pasquini. So, all right, so I'm going to turn off this image. I hope that was fun for you and just show you the line drawing of my newest work. Now, this is going to be 80 by 80. It's what I'm working on. I really only have maybe the bottom 1/5 of this quilt done, but it is somewhat complex. But I'm a raven lunatic, in case you didn't know that. And so I love this tree. That big sphere is actually a moon with a clock face on it, and the clock is almost midnight. It's saying time is running out. Carpe diem. We only have the promise of now, so don't put things off. And if that message rings true with you today, then take it to heart. But this is what I'm working on. I'm not showing you a progress photo. I'm just showing you the design. And I will say that the tree portion of this was generated by AI that I could then take and create my own pattern from. But the rest of the design was pretty much created by myself and putting that together. So I'm pretty excited about this one and looking forward to getting that one finished. It's going to be a pretty significant quilt. Again, it's 80 inches square, so it's not small, but it's not gargantuan, but it is definitely a large size quilt. All right, I want to get into Katie Pasquini today. I have enjoyed her for over the years. I think the best thing to do is just to hop right into the interview so I don't repeat myself, because I have a tendency to do that. But I got to visit with Katie Pasquini on Monday. We made the decision to put this very quickly right now on Wednesday because Katie has some great news to share with you, and we are really excited and happy for her. So I'll come back at the end. I'll try to be watching questions as we move along, and I'll try to jot those down and answer any questions that you might have on the backside of this interview. So without further ado, here is my little chat with Katie Pasquini Masopust. So hey everybody, I am so excited to be able to share with you the quilt industry's legendary Katie Pasquini Masopust. Oh my gosh, I am so happy to see you today.
Well, I'm very excited to be here too.
You know, Katie, you've been on the Quilt Show before, and we ran into you on the streets of Santa Fe once upon a time.
Yes.
But tell everybody where you're living these days, just as a reminder.
I live in Northern California in Fortuna, which is like 30 minutes south of on 101 from Eureka, where I was born and raised. So I moved away for 25 years to Santa Fe, where I saw you there. And now I'm back in Fortuna, and my family lives close, and I'm very happy here.
That's wonderful. I will say that we are greeting you today because of a really wonderful special achievement, an honor that not a lot of people get to have. And I would like for you to spill the beans. Tell everybody what's going on.
I am being inducted into the Quilters Hall of Fame. So that's yes, very, very exciting. Quite an honor.
Tell us a little bit about more about that. Where it's located, what's all involved, all of that.
Okay, well, you have to be nominated. And many, many years ago, Virginia Avery was my first patron, or the one who nominated me. And there's so many people that it takes a while. So I found out about 6 months ago. They asked me if I wanted to be inducted, and had to think a second about that. Of course, the answer was yes. And it's in Marion, Indiana. I'm flying out on Wednesday. My sister and her husband, my cousin, my brother, are all flying with me. My best friend, Randallin. And there's 3 days of events, sort of like I have a quilt show hung there of my work, and I'll be giving tours through it. And then there's a luncheon on Friday. And then the actual induction is on Saturday night. And people can get up and say what they want, and we just have a nice time. And then I guess I get a plaque on the wall, and I'll be in the Hall of Fame.
Exciting, and there were the dates of that. This is the interior of the facility. I was able to get a few photos of the Quilters Hall of Fame and the location where that is. It's a beautiful old stylized Midwestern, beautiful house, and I think it's going to be a wonderful experience for you. I assume this is a gallery. Are you aware?
I haven't. They'll have my pieces hanging at the house, and then they get moved to the library, or vice versa. So the show is going to be located in two places. I believe that is the room in the Hall of Fame. So they'll be hanging in there. Those weren't my quilts, but that's just a
The
show of
space,
the
right?
space.
So, on the exhibition that you'll have, how long will that last?
I think it's up till October. I believe it's up to the first part of October.
Well, we are celebrating for you, Katie. I mean, you know, when I came in as a baby quilter, you were already legendary, and you probably didn't know I was one of the little underlings down here just going, oh my God, that's Katie Pasquini. Oh my God, look at her. She's over there. And I remember so many of your quilts from the 90s, and I have really enjoyed watching you evolve and, find your voice and then put that voice maybe a little bit aside while you find a new voice. You are constantly not I want to say reinventing yourself, but you're reinventing your creative vision. Am I right about that?
Yes, I've always worked in series, so I get an idea and I do several quilts on that. I can take anywhere from a year to a couple of years of exploring an idea, and then I kind of fizzle out or feel I have answered all of the ideas or questions that I have. So then I look around to try and find something new to do. I mix painting, a lot of times inspires where I'm going to go. My quilts become more painterly, and then sometimes they get real geometric. But so I like to change to keep myself interested, and hopefully that keeps the viewers and my students interested.
I agree. Both of us are dear friends and we love Libby Lehman beyond measure.
Yeah.
And in many of the lectures, I do not remember who she was quoting, but there is some studio quilt artist that said, when you're working in a series, because coming up with a name is really challenging, just call this one Flotsam number 7 and flotsam number 8, but start with number 7 or 6 so that whenever you're dead and gone, everybody's searching for 1 through 6.
That's a good one. I'll have to think of that for my next series.
So I have some images of what you're doing now, your most recent quilt. So can we talk about those?
Sure, sure. I just finished. Yeah, this is the inspiration. This is a photograph I took. I recently went on a trip to Vietnam with a bunch of girls, and the first picture I took when we got to our cabana was this water lily, and I just loved it. And so then I decided this could be the inspiration. The series that I'm working on now is called Black and White plus one color. So I've done a black and white and red one based on a painting, a black and white and yellow one based on a watercolor, a black and white and violet, kind of my artful log cabin of an iris. And then this one is black and white orange, but orange kind of and black and white sort of say Halloween. So I used a more salmony color. So it's black and white and salmon runs through it. And so this was the photograph. And then I always take a piece of acetate, lay it over this image, and draw it with a line drawing to make, yeah, you can see here the line drawing. This black and white series is based also on my last series, which was about grid work. And so I would do straight lines that are put in like little tiny strips of color. And this one, I tried to do straight lines, but everything was so organic and circular that I ended up doing this circular grid, although you can see the thin lines of big circles that cover the drawing. And so that was going to be my first time experiencing bias lines and making the grid of curves. So then I take just that image, that's the image, and I take that to a blueprint shop and they blow it up full size. And so this is about 50 inches. And then that becomes all those shapes become my templates.
And
So
so here you are working with your paper. Now it's on paper
yeah.
and you're starting into fabric.
Yes, so
Boy,
I was my thought was to do black and white graphics. So there's the leaf that the pad that's behind the flower is done in a grayscale, and all the rest of the lily pads are done with black and white graphic fabrics. And so that was really fun. And then you can see the little bit of orange coming for the
so I
petals.
know it's not really reasonable or possible to teach your method of technique, but can you give us just a hint as how these are they appliqued, pieced? Can you give us an idea behind that?
Yes, I use Sulky Totally Stable. It's a heat sensitive tearaway stabilizer. And so I draw the design for each of those little sections. So it's also quilt as you go. So you can see where it breaks along the curve line. So I draw the design from this enlargement onto the sulky, and then I use the templates, cut them out, cut the fabric out, turn the edges with spray starch and a stiletto over the paper pattern, and then put it in place on the sulky totally stable, and you can touch the fabric with an iron, and it'll temporarily hold it in place on the sulky. Then when all the pieces are put down and I like the way it's looking, I use monofilament thread and a free motion zigzag to stitch all the pieces down. Then I tear all the paper off and then put batting and backing and quilt each little section. So at this point, yeah, at this point, you're just seeing, I don't believe that this is quilted yet. It's just the pieces getting onto the sulky. Here, I've started quilting it and putting it together with the salmon colored line, thin line that separates each of the quilt
Wow.
as you go pieces.
Wow. So there is a backing and a batting and a
Mhm,
and the top in each of those
mhm,
sections, and it is the
mhm.
orange separating line that is joining it all together.
Right.
That is fantastic. Wow. Very good. And this is a
Yeah.
kind of the same place, only a little further back, maybe.
I did. It's starting to work on the upper left sort of side, and you can see that paper that's there that I'm attaching these pieces of fabric to. That's the sulky.
Sure. Well, we are lucky because you just finished this quilt, right?
Monday of last week. So I had to mail it off on Wednesday, so it was tight.
Is it going with you to the Quilters Hall of Fame?
It's there now. They just received it.
That's fantastic. I want to show everybody I mean, a little closer up of this just because you know how we are quilters. We just want to see more. So here it is zoomed in. And I think how I had no idea, Katie, that this was kind of, I say quilt as you go. Such a wonderful way to do this while you can do all the quilting on smaller units. And
Yes.
it's a very big surprise to me to learn that that's how you did that.
Oh, cool. Yeah, it makes a much larger piece easier to manage and stitch. And then I really like that overlay of the curved grid on it too, so that helps add another.
I do too. And this one's called Black and White and Salmon or Lily
And
Pad?
salmon.
Okay, yeah.
Yep, black and white and salmon.
Oh my gosh. You're still teaching, right?
Yes, I'm teaching a little bit. I'm sort of semi-retired. I'm not going out to just do one day workshops. The air, flying and getting places is more and more difficult. So I do week-long workshops. I have one planned in August at the Hudson River Valley workshops in upstate New York. That's a week-long workshop on my stitched painting technique where we paint with acrylic on canvas and cut it up and sew it together and quilt it. And then I'm also going to be at Art Quilt Tahoe in November to do my grid work, which is my newest class.
That's awesome. Well, and I know so people that if they wanted to find you, I mean, if somebody says, "Hey, we can put together a 5-day workshop," you would still be willing to do that, right?
Yes.
And I have on the screen your website, KDPM, and where you're teaching and the links to where you're going to be, because maybe there's still spots open for those.
Yes, there's probably a few spots open in both of those workshops. And so there's a itinerary page pulled down on my website that you can see where I'll be, what I'll be teaching, and how to contact the venue.
Well, knowing that you're leaving tomorrow to go on this amazing quest. I am honestly grateful that you've taken today to talk with me. Thank you so much, Katie. You've been, I mean, to so many people through the industry, you've been an inspiration. But I just want to personally say thank you from the bottom of my heart for all that you've meant to me. Maybe you don't
No,
know that on a deep level, but there are so many. So I mean, not so many. There's a handful. That's even a better way. There's a handful of quilters such as yourself that inspired me and kept me going and pushed me into my career. And I just want to thank you for that. You're
well, thank you.
Yeah, I mean, I don't get to see you nearly enough, but I love you dearly and I admire all that you've done and what you've brought to this industry. So, your honor for being inducted into the Quilters Hall of Fame is well deserved, certainly very
Thank
well deserved, and an honor that we can celebrate with you.
All right. Well, I always have time for you, so there was no problem being here this morning. It's sort of like my send off. This is the great way to start the whole week of celebration. And I thank you for your kind words. And I love your work as well. And we had a great time with you when we were in Paducah judging that show. That was really fun. So I'm sure our paths will cross again soon.
Yeah, it definitely will. I'm hoping that you'll come to Houston, but I know you've got a lot on your plate. But
I'm
nonetheless,
trying to
yeah.
soon. Yeah.
But I wish you all the best, and thank you for taking the time today to chat. Have a safe trip. Have a successful awards, and I'll be cheering you on from the nosebleed section back here in Colorado because I won't be able to be there.
Okay.
All
Well, thank
right.
you very much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
And we're back. Isn't Katie just delightful? And, like I said in the interview, boy, when I was a baby quilter, I was just gobsmacked by her quilts. And I love when quilters go the long distance. And Katie has certainly done that. She wasn't a flash in the pan. She's just been steady as she goes. And I love seeing her changes and evolution over the years. Katie is one of our TQS legends for the Quilt Show, and we have opened up her show, her legend show, free to everyone for a week. If you're not a member of the Quilt Show and not a subscribing star member, I urge you to go watch the show and maybe consider becoming a member of thequiltshow.com. Also, she mentioned Virginia Avery. Virginia Avery was legendary in the art quilt movement and in quilted garments, and Virginia Avery lived to just 1 month short of her 100th birthday, and she never wanted people to know how old she was. I ended up teaching with Virginia for years, and I had to do the math. The last time I taught with Virginia, she was 96 years old, and I couldn't keep up with her. So if you would like to check out Virginia's show, we're opening that one up also for a full week where you can watch and go see Virginia's show, because Virginia is the one that nominated Katie so many years ago for this wonderful, prestigious honor. Now, I was given a note in the chat that the house that the Quilters Hall of Fame is held in is in the house of Marie Webster. And Marie Webster was a quilt pattern maker and designer in the 1900s. And so that is a really cool connection to quilting, and probably one of those things that when you're there, if you happen to go and see Katie's exhibit, and we wanted to share this because if there's anybody of you that are within driving distance of the Hall of Fame, we wanted you to be able to take advantage of that, and you can contact them. Just go online and search for Quilters Hall of Fame, and I know you'll find the location in Marion, Indiana. And so congratulations, Katie. Thank you so much. I'm so proud of you, and we're all just cheering you on. And for everyone that has been behind the scenes pulling this all together, we know that that's a really wonderful thing, and you have a lot of work ahead of you as well, because just keeping that whole ball rolling is one of those things that none of us in the quilt world take for granted. I want to end by saying a couple of things of what's going on tomorrow Friday the 19th. We begin a little summer sampler for you guys with Diane Harris, who is the Stash Bandit. And I want to pop over so I don't miss this and give you all the details. So it is at the same time, which is 10 a.m. on Pacific. That's 1 p.m. on Eastern. So 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern. That's when this will happen. And this is Summer Splash. It's a small 33 by 41, not a miniature, but it's a fun color sampler that she's going to be sharing. This goes on for 3 months. She will also do another presentation on August the 23rd. That's a Friday. And on September the 20th, that's a Friday. So for those of you that want to know what you're going to learn, how to proactively make sure your patchwork all fits together, you're going to get some foundation paper piecing skills. You're going to how to make and apply Dresden plates, and how to handle those tricky intersections. Of course, there's a lot more. Diane she's the Stash Bandit, but the Stash Bandit made a splash Bandit on the Quilt Show, and so we're excited to have her doing that. And then many of you follow along with Dee Christopher, and Dee has done our Saturday samplers. This Saturday, though, she is coming to us from her annual quilting retreat, which is being held at the St. Francis Retreat Center in San Juan Bautista, California. She has a surprise for you, so that is what you need to go if you're. I mean, I know many of you love following Dee and seeing what she does with us on Saturdays, but you need to go visit with her at this Franciscan monastery and just hang on for the ride because she has a fun surprise. And that's all they told me I could tell you. I can't tell you any more about that. So if you're interested, please pop over and do that. Any questions that you might have had for today? If not, because I'm not seeing a lot. I'm just seeing a lot of encouraging words for Katie, which are well-deserved. Love, love, love Katie. Taking class from her. If you ever have the chance, definitely take a chance from her. I second all of those emotions. And Katie is an inspiration and an original creative quilter, well-deserved to the Hall of Fame. Katie, if you're watching, everybody's cheering you on, and we wish you all the best and great congratulations for this wonderful achievement. All right, you guys, I'm going to say goodbye. We look forward to seeing you next time. There's fun things going on constantly here on the Quilt Show. We try to come to you a couple of times a week with some live stuff, either myself or Alex Anderson, and mostly Alex, but sometimes I get to play along. And we appreciate you being part of our worldwide quilting family. Stay connected us through thequiltshow.com.